Bro! The fact that this... Not me looking professional, period. Okay, so y'all have been asking so many questions on back to school, first year, first week, just teacher advice. So let's get into the tea. I want to start off by saying all of these answers are based off my own opinion, okay? I understand that there are multiple states, multiple countries, multiple curriculums, multiple grade, let me start off by saying, hi, okay, Shelby Lattimore, Ms.L, however, whatever you want to refer to me as. I'm going into my 5th year teaching. I have only taught 3rd grade. So when it comes to like other grade levels, take what you want, try to adapt it. If it works for you, it works for you. But again, I'm no expert. My first year of teaching was during COVID. So like, I really don't even feel like that counts. So not too much on me. I'm just a baby. Well, you know, okay. So I really want to start off with first year teachers. I have like, look, I got a whole, okay, you're saying it's organized, babes. So first year teachers, here is some advice that I have for y'all. Show up early. Show up early. I still do this. Majority of the time it's in the beginning of the school year when I'm like getting accustomed to everything. But show up early. What I mean by early is like, you don't want to be coming in the same time as your kids. You want to feel like settled, prepared, you have everything, you have things written down, you have your email up. Have your email up. One of the things I will tell you that is crucial, okay, is sometimes you get emails throughout the day that you need to respond to or remember. Have your email up. You never know when those are going to come through, okay? First year teachers, do not get caught up in the data, okay? I understand that we're going to look at test scores and quiz scores and benchmarks and all of these, right? Which is important. Don't get me wrong, it's very important, but don't go get caught up in it. Don't be like, oh, I'm trash at this job because this, because of data. I did that and it was a headache, okay? Also, don't do too much, okay? There are some teachers you will see on social media, in your school, whatever, that are changing their bulletin boards every month or that have a theme. Don't do too much. Don't do too much, okay? What I mean by don't do too much is practice certain routines. Stick to those routines and just really enjoy your first year, because it's really hard for some teachers to enjoy their first year. Enjoy it. Don't try to put too much on your plate and then you become overwhelmed and you're gonna get burnt out. I'm gonna do all of this stuff. You will be burnt out by the end of the school year. As far as coworkers, this, you know, can be a little sticky. Some people like to go into work and they think their coworkers are like their friends, which they absolutely can be, right? So like me and my 3rd grade team, we've been working together for a couple years now, and I tell them things about my family, my personal life, whatever it may be. But on the flip side, okay, your coworkers are not your friends. They can become your friends, but just, you know, take it easy. Take it easy, okay? Teaching style. How do you find your teaching style? When I was in school, I would take things from other teachers and I'd be like, okay, I would try them out. But gradually you find things that work for yourself, your own teaching style and things of that sort. I really didn't get into my own teaching style, I'm not gonna lie, until like my 2nd, maybe 3rd year of teaching. And then last year and my 3rd year teaching really was when I was like confident in like how I like to move around my classroom, where I like to sit, like little things like that, where I wanted to write certain things, like attention getters. So take things from other teachers and adapt them for yourself. See what works, and eventually you'll get there. But again, first year teachers, your first year is all about just learning procedures, learning little things. Like my first year teaching, I didn't even know like we had staff meetings. Like you don't know how many staff meetings I missed. Just because I just didn't know. Like, and some schools, I don't know if this is just my like county, but we have like first year mentors. And honestly, I still go to my mentor now and she helps me with things. But there are little things like professional developments and things that I was like, I don't even know how to print. Like my first year, I barely printed anything because I didn't know. And your mentor should help you with stuff like that. Okay, next topic. First week of school. Four huge things for the first week of school. Number one, I got a lot of questions about like decorating my classroom. Me, I'm not the real like decoraty, artsy person. So I like to say my classroom is rainbow, but my classroom's only rainbow because I just buy a whole bunch of stuff that is multicolored and it just ends up being a rainbow. You see what I'm saying? So I do not buy new stuff every year. Now throughout the year, certain things do break or get like dusty, crusty, old, and you know, you replace those things. Or throughout the year, you're like, oh, I need more of these things, whatever. I go through a lot of whiteboards and markers. I would stay away from things that can pop. Like I buy these inflatable thing, like seats every year, and every year they pop, but whatever. And I do have like this rug that's white. Why did I buy a white rug? I don't know. Those things are trashed. Second thing, practice your routines. When I tell you every little thing we do to a T, really the first month of school. So when I say like we practice getting up and lining up, even if they do it perfectly, I make them do it again. And I make them do it silently. And if one person messes up, we all do it again, okay? Things like getting your notebook out or so we have like math notebooks. Every day for the first month of school, really even sometimes in the second month of school, every day I walk around to make sure that whatever page they finish on, they flip over to the very next page. You don't know how many kids don't understand that concept. It really gets to me. Things like sharpening your pencil, like the smallest things, even if they do it right, we do it again, just so I can make sure. And then like every morning I'll quiz them. So for example, I'll be like, okay, what are the important things when we line up? We are silent, hands to yourself, facing forward in your line order. And and I'll quiz them. I'm like, okay, somebody else give me something. What's another routine? What's another routine? So like, even if we're not practicing it physically, they've got it in their mind. Next thing that's very important, get to know your kids. Kids do not learn from teachers they do not like, okay? If your kids feel like you are here and you're invested in their education, they're going to show up in the best way that they possibly can. Now, does that mean they're going to be 100% every single day? Absolutely not, because you don't show up every single day at 100%. But if you're showing up with a certain level of energy, whatever it may be, and your kids feel like you care, that's going to carry all the way to the end of the year. So what I mean by show your kids that you care, get to know them outside of math, science, social studies, and English. Ask them about their siblings. Ask them sports, favorite food, color, and really try to ingrain that in your memory. So then the next day, let's say their sister's birthday was over the weekend and you remember that on Friday they left and they're like, it's my sister's birthday. On Monday, how was your sister's birthday? They're gonna look at you like, she remembered it was my sister's birthday. Yeah, I did. Right? She cares. He cares. That teacher cares about the student. Time management. Oh my God. When I tell you, I was so bad at time management my first year. Like I would always run over small groups, never had time for them. Like it was just a disaster until I would just get my phone and I would set timers. So like when my kids had to like get pulled out for special education or like L services and things like that, I would literally put a timer, and in the timer I'd put the kids' names of like where they were supposed to be or what I'm supposed to be doing, so that I knew, hey, like let's wrap this up. Now that I'm going into my 5th year, I'm a little bit better, and your kids will know too. So like towards the middle of the year, really put that responsibility on them. So like if I have students that are supposed to go to EC services or language services or anything, I'm like, hey, remember you're supposed to go at 2:30, right? Now, if they forget, obviously I remind them, but eventually they need to be responsible for that. Older kids, obviously they're going to handle that responsibility a little bit better than maybe younger kids, but don't set the bar low, okay? Morning meeting. A lot of y'all asked about morning meeting, okay? My morning meeting is a little different because, you know, that's when I do my financial literacy stuff. So some of those days are taken with like us doing jobs, paying rent, things like that. But these are top 3 things that I would say to incorporate in your morning meeting if you're not doing something like specific like that. Discussion prompts. So a lot in the beginning of the school year, we do a lot of like get to know you prompts. So things like that are kind of corny and are a little played out, but kids love them. Like, oh, what did you do during the summer? Or how do you feel about this movie that came out? Or like, can you do this dance better than it? Like, just things like that. We do a lot of this or that things. So to get them up, you get them out of their seat. And I'll say go to the right side of the classroom if you like cupcakes, or go to the left side of the classroom if you like cookies. And then they choose this or that. That's a nice little activity we always do at the beginning of the school year. Next, my favorite, and I didn't do that much of it this past year, is secret handshake. I love secret handshake. So basically what that is every week you pair students to a different person in the classroom and they make their own handshake, and then randomly throughout the week you'll just say secret handshake. And it's a real good attention getter too, or if you just need like kids to just move around and they'll just hop out of their seat, find their partner and do their secret handshake with their partner. And it's also really cute when you see them doing their secret handshake outside of the classroom. Some of them get real creative. It also gets those shy friends to meet other people in the classroom. So I love secret handshake. And last thing, weekly events. I always start our morning meeting with sharing, hey, on Monday we're doing this, Tuesday we're doing this, Wednesday, things of that sort, so that they know like, oh, if picture day is on Friday, like I need to let my mom know, even though I'll probably let them know, but just things like that, tests, anything that's coming up that week. Staying on the topic of organization, okay? Lesson plans was a big question. Now, I've heard horror stories of other teachers in other schools and how they implement lesson plans and like, yeah. I'll say for my experience and for my school, I have had a great experience with lesson plans because we have coaches. So basically there are like staff in our building that are in charge of certain grade levels or certain subjects. And we have planning periods where we like plan our lesson plans. Now, because I've been doing the same grade level and the same topic, the same subject for a couple of years, I have a lot of those same slides and things, but it's not like a formal like lesson plan. Like when I was in college, yeah, those like 4 or 5 page lesson plans for one lesson, no, we don't have to do any of those. At least I don't. Fingers crossed. Hopefully I don't have to run into that. But we do plan. We try to plan like obviously, you know, the week before, maybe 2 weeks before. But it can get a little sticky if you try to plan too far in advance, because then like things can come up and you have to change things. So sometimes you'll run into a topic that you think, oh, like the kids only need like a day, maybe 2 days to grasp. And then it just goes terribly wrong and you have to push back other lessons so that you can do that another day. So it's unexpected, things come up, so don't plan too far in advance. Now I will say we still do plan like quarterly or monthly, maybe more, on like the standard. So like I can say, okay, this week we're gonna teach adding and subtracting Monday through Thursday, and then Friday they'll have a quiz, and then the next week we'll teach adding and subtracting with word problems, and then they'll have the test on Friday, and then so like I'm planning the whole month just the standard, but I'm not planning the lesson, like how I'm gonna do it, what are the problems. So there's standard planning, which is like pacing, and then there's lesson planning, which is like the day. So those are different. Again, depends on the school, depends on the subject, depends on a lot of different things. That's just my own experience. Next thing that kind of ties with that is school support. I have been blessed and highly favored when it comes to my school and my support system, from my principal down to my team. Like, there are just different levels of support, and I kid you not, teachers burn out and they end up hating their school or their job because they have no support. So for example, like if I have a student that I know needs a break, but I'm in the middle of a lesson and they're having some sort of like disruptive behavior or disrespect and I call maybe the office to get someone to take the child, and it takes 20-25 minutes, at that point I've handled it. Like at that point we've lost a lot of time in that, right? Rather than having a support system where I can make a phone call and you're there within like 5 minutes, right? So now that student is taken care of in a separate setting, and it doesn't disrupt the rest of the class, okay? Also, love a admin team that, again, like I said, when I care about my students personally, when my admin team cares about me personally. So like if I'm going through something or personally, and they make sure to check up on me or they care about me in that sense. What I love about my school is, like, if there's a staff member who has lost someone in their family or is going through a struggle, you know, we do things like we have cards that like staff will sign to give to that staff member, like personal things. We also do a lot of team bonding activities in the sense of we do like little games just for us, and I find that just it's like a period where you feel like, okay, like they care about me, and that then makes me more energized for my kids. On top of that, shout out to my 3rd grade team if they see this. If it wasn't for my 3rd grade team, I would have lost my mind. There was a year where, I kid you not, we maybe had student physical altercations every day, multiple times a day, right? And other grade levels knew this, like we were struggling, and we had the support of our admin, like we had so much support, but again, yeah, it was just one of those years, and it would still be to the point where at the end of the day, me and my 3rd grade team, we could still like talk to each other, release certain emotions, and like laugh and like be like, well, like there's a light at the end of the tunnel. Like at least we made it through the day. Like there was so much positives. We celebrate birthdays. Like my co-teacher, I teach math, she teaches ELA. Like we hang out outside of school, like inviting each other to each other's birthdays. Like we are tight at this point. Like anything personal that's going on in my life. But again, like we've been in it for a couple years now. We've been through some stuff now, but don't know where I'd be without them. My behavior management. A lot of y'all ask about this. And again, I want to reiterate the relationships I have with my kids. I think a lot of people see like how I have a certain relationship with my kids, and because of that, the behaviors I have with my kids can look different and are managed different. But my number one thing that I absolutely will say is, if a student is having a certain behavior, let's say they're at their desk and you just know that they're doing it on purpose, and they just want you to be like, stop, like just to give them a little bit of like attention. Sometimes I'll just walk over to the student and they just think I'm gonna like be mad, or they think I'm gonna like scold them, whatever, and I'll just be like, how's your mom? Like I'll catch them off guard and they'll look at me like, I thought she was gonna yell at me, or like I thought she was gonna give me a consequence. And I'm like, I really like your shoes, like where'd you get those from? And it catches them so off guard, and now they're engaged in a more positive way. It has turned whatever negative, you know, energy, whatever negative thoughts they had, and they'll answer my question. I'll be like, so like, are you okay? Like, is everything okay? Like, do you need me? Did you need help? And I promise you, 9 times out of 10, it works every time. Every time. Catch them off guard. On top of that, do not give kids consequences without their input. I don't care what age they are. I don't care what. At this point, I grew up in a household where if I did something wrong, this was the consequence. I was given my consequence, right? But I have learned with my students that if they have input in their consequence, I promise you it's going to go off so much easier. So for example, like if I'll pick my kids up from specials and they get in trouble, like in PE, whatever it may be, right? And I'll talk to them, which you should always talk to your students, okay? And I'll be like, okay, what's the consequence? Like, obviously, we did something wrong here. We understand we did something wrong here. We talked about it. What's the consequence? And sometimes I'll give them 3 options. Sometimes they'll just tell me, okay, I'll just walk 5 laps. Or I'll have silent lunch. Like, they'll tell you what's inappropriate. And as the teacher, obviously, you can decide if it needs to be more or less. And sometimes you can give them options. But always have their input. Like, don't just be like, this is what it is, and slap it on the desk and whatever. Like, you need to talk to the kids. They need to be able to talk it through. They need to be able to understand what they did and how to fix it moving forward. Some of the things that I like to do to get my kids' attention is one that I always use, all eyes on me, and then they say all eyes on you. Sometimes I'll use like different TikTok references that I know that they're using, not inappropriate ones, obviously, but I'll do things like that. Or I have my best friend's sister is a teacher, and she told me about the doorbell. So my first year, she actually bought me the doorbell. It's on Amazon. You just press it and they just look. I use it for stations also, so they know when they hear the bell to move to the next station. Rewards and challenges to keep my kids engaged with what's going on. Every topic or every quarter, I'll make an anchor chart where they have to compete with the other class. So I'm departmentalized, so I have 2 classes. And basically they'll color in a block or a circle or whatever the theme is for that topic or that quarter until there's a winner. So they might win a donut party or a pizza party or water balloon fight at the end of the year. Like, these are all things that they can earn, and it keeps them engaged because like, oh, like, and we'll count them. Like, after we color them every day, we'll count them, and they like that. 2 more things. Parents. I haven't had a lot of issues with parents, and I think I don't have a lot of issues with parents because my line of communication. If you are only calling parents when something has gone wrong, I don't understand the shock when parents don't want to talk to you. Point blank, period. If I'm a parent and the only time I see your name pop up on my phone is when something is wrong, like as in my kid is getting in trouble, like there's no positive, I'm gonna answer the phone like, hello. Like, I'm gonna look at that phone. Like, everybody knows, like, when you see certain numbers pop up on your phone, like, you don't want to answer. And some parents that had bad relationships with their teacher, they block them. They do. And not that that's a safe thing, and I'm not going to say that's a good thing, but it can be understood to a certain extent, okay? Because it's negative. It's always negative. Now, again, that can go both ways. But for me personally, I always make sure that I'm calling for good things. And this is not just students who have behavioral problems or academic problems or whatever it may be. This is all of my students, right? So calling them, oh my gosh, like, your student just got a 100 on their quiz, they're super exciting. Sometimes you put the kid on the phone. Or at the end of the day, you know, if they made a new friend, like, even if it's the smallest things, like, make positive phone calls. When it comes to filming, I haven't had any problems with families as well. I think it's because a lot of my videos, one, hide the privacy of the child. I don't put anything out there that is like, oh, like super sensitive information about the child. Any of that stuff is cut. And 2, what you see in my videos, like, you see in real life. So my parents know who I am. They can call me at any time. They have my personal phone number. I also interact with them when they come to pick up their kids from school, and they know I care about their kids. So anything you see online, they also see. Last thing, I got this question a lot. When it comes to my personal life and dating, I'm gonna hold your hand when I say this. if you are like me, again, my experience, dating life as a teacher who is invested in teaching and who is, you know, maybe not the best at saying no. Oh, say no. Be able to say no. First year teachers, if you're still watching it, be able to say no. Dating life is hard. You don't want to date during the school week because you're tired. And during the weekends, it's like your time to recuperate. So, yeah, I don't know. That's what I got. If I need to make a part two, y'all let me know. There was a lot of questions about my own experience, so maybe I'll do a video on that. But I hope this answered a lot of people's questions. If not, let me know. Put it in the comments. Put it in Instagram. I don't know. But good luck to everybody this school year. I hope this helps. Yeah.